budget proposal for the year 2016 to be presented tomorrow.
New ambassadors and high commissioners for 13 countries appointed.
Former president speaks on who he will support at the next election.
දැන් මට ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයෙන් එපයි කියනෝනේ. මගේ සහයෝගය එපා කියලා. එපා පැත්තකට වෙන්න විශ්‍රාමයන්ට.
A racket which transports marijuana from Jaffna to Colombo unraveled.
In your top story this evening,
Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake says reviving the country's economy is the top priority of tomorrow's budget.
Now, the inaugural budget of the new government is set to be presented in Parliament at 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Tomorrow's budget will spell out the new government's future economic program. The President's Media Unit said that the final touches for the budget proposal were made under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. A group including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake, Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samarvikrama, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Arjuna Mahendran and Secretary to the Ministry of Finance RHS Samarathunga were present. Meanwhile, co-cabinet spokesperson Minister Gayantha Karunathilaka said that a special cabinet meeting on the budget is scheduled to be held tomorrow morning. Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake addressed the media this morning to elaborate on tomorrow's proceedings.
Tomorrow we'll present the budget of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's government. With that, you'll be able to show that as to where our priorities are basically being diverted to, and with that we want to ensure a new Sri Lanka is born. Today we feel that people have been impoverished far too long, opportunity have been stymied, and this is the best opportunity to rekindle all the aspirations of the people and get the country back into proper order.
Convening a media briefing today, the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce spoke on the expectations of the business community through a budget.
What we need to specifically tell the policymakers of this country is that we need a fair trading system which will create a convenient backdrop for small and medium-scale entrepreneurs. It may be imports or exports, but it is our intention to create a backdrop which is more suitable for the business community to take long-term decisions.
Views on the budget were also expressed by several political party representatives at various programs held today.
Tomorrow the budget will be presented. And today there are reports in newspapers that the government is importing 5,000 rounds of tear gas ammunition. According to the social economic vision, is this a people-friendly economy? No. What is their plan? It is not to improve the economic situation of the general public. Tomorrow's budget will bring forth an economic arrangement for the middle class. Every community is anxiously waiting to see the outcome of this budget. The worst is this EPF and EPF. What will happen after this budget is presented is that those who are in the mentality of the medium class will fall lower to the lower class. Today is the 19th and it is the final day of the golden era of this government. Tomorrow they will show their economic policy. Arjuna Mahendran has made a very controversial statement. Even though he has been severely criticized, he has presented two very reasonable facts. He has said that in the current tax system in the country, the rich man is taxed lesser while the poor man is drained. Another key factor that he stated was that the nationalized institutions of the country have transformed into a weak administration which works in a very inefficient manner. Therefore, these institutions always incur losses, and that loss directly impacts the treasury, which in turn creates a heavy burden upon the treasury. Therefore, we hope that measures are taken to rectify these matters through the budget.
Well, now Newsfirst has made all arrangements to telecast the reading of the 2016 budget starting from 1:15 tomorrow afternoon.
the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposals presented by President Maithripala Sirisena to abolish the executive presidency yesterday. The time frame of enforcing the proposal was detailed at the Cabinet media briefing held this morning.
Maithripala Sirisena ජනාධිපතිතුමා දිනසී රජය ඇතුළත 19 වෙනි සංශෝධනය ගැන සම්මත කරගන්න සමත් වුණා. දැන් එතුමා
Under the 100 days government, President Maithripala Sirisena was successful in passing the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. Yesterday, he presented a special cabinet paper to the cabinet meeting regarding the abolishing of executive presidency and transfer of powers to the parliament and to introduce of a more democratic electoral system. He made a pledge on this at the presidential elections. He took the initiative to present a cabinet paper. I see this initiative as one that was carried out casting aside party differences. All matters will take place to the subcommittee that will be headed by the Prime Minister. The views and suggestions of all other parties will be obtained. The President and the Prime Minister does not expect this to take a very long time. It will be done within a certain time frame and Cabinet will be informed on it.
සියලු පක්ෂවල අදහස් අරගෙන සියලු දෙනාගේ අදහස් අරගෙන හැබැයි ඒක දීර්ඝ කාලයක් ඇදෙන එකක් කරන්න අගමැතිතුමත් ජනාධිපතිතුමත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නිශ්චිත කාල ශ්‍රාමුවක් තුල ඒ සියල්ල කරලා කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට දැනුම් දෙනවා.
I believe their target would be June or July. We will be informed about it tomorrow or the day after. They will first meet and announce the time period. Sometimes it may happen. I think it will be reported to Cabinet in June or July, and after it is passed, the legal draft will be presented to Parliament. Everything that we have said will take place.
ඒක අපිත් මාධ්‍යයෙන් දැක්කේ නිසා අපිත් මාධ්‍යයෙන්ම තමයි අහන්න තියෙන්නේ කියලා. ගාල්ලේ තව දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්න මං ඇරුණුකොට මම නන් නෙවෙයි. ඇරන්ගාඩේට සම්බන්ධ කතා කරන අනිත් අමුතුවරයන් දන්නේ අහලා
डॉक्टर साहिल समरसिंह विසින් රුපියල් ලක්ෂ 50ක මුදලක් ලබා දීම ගැන අවන්ගාඩ් සිද්ධිය සම්බන්ධයෙන් මාධ්‍ය වෙත ඉලක්ක වුණානේ. අර මෙහෙම අවන්ගාඩ් සිද්ධියට සල්ලි වගේක් ගියා කියලා ડોક્ટર සාරසිංහ. එතකොට ඒ වගේ මුදලක් ලබා ගැනීමක් තිබිලා තියෙනවද? ඒක රිටර්න්
දැන් අවන්ගාඩ් පිළිබඳව වෙනම පරීක්ෂණ යනවනේ. ඒ පරීක්ෂණ වලට අපි ඉඩ දීලා ඉමු. ඊට පස්සේ අපි බලමු මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා.
හරින් ප්‍රනාන්දු එමතුමා මේ චෝදනාවක් කරා පහුගිය දවස්වල මේ ගැන කැබිනට් රැස්වීමේදී දැඩිව කතා කරනවා කියලා කිව්වා. ඒ ගැන කතා වුණාද?
එහෙම ලොකුවට කතා කරන්න තරම් දෙයක්
Nothing of serious nature was discussed at the cabinet meeting. We have reached a decision where we will work together without any collisions with anybody.
තීරණයට දැන් අපි ඇවිත් තියෙනවා. කතා කරාද කියන එක දැනගන්න. එතුමා ඊයේ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ අදහස් ප්‍රකාශ කරා. විවිධ දේවල් කතා කරා.
13 new Sri Lankan ambassadors and high commissioners have been appointed. The appointments were announced at a press conference at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today.
According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Priyani Vijayasekara has been appointed as the ambassador to Austria, while Dr. Karnasena Kodituwaku has been appointed as the ambassador to China. Vadibel Krishnamurthy was appointed as the Deputy Sri Lankan High Commissioner to Chennai in India, and Darshana Pereira will be Sri Lanka's ambassador to Indonesia. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that DSL Palpola has been appointed as the ambassador to Italy, ALM Lafir has been appointed as the ambassador to Jordan, while KWMD Karnaratna has been appointed as the ambassador to Myanmar. MS Anwar will be the Sri Lankan representative to Palestine. AM Tassim has been appointed as the ambassador to Saudi Arabia, while Nibal Veeratna will serve as the Sri Lankan High Commissioner to Singapore. According to the ministry, Sunil De Silva will be Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to South Africa. CM Anzar has been appointed as the ambassador to Turkey, while SJ Mohideen was appointed as the Sri Lankan ambassador to the United Arab Emirates.
Well, you're watching the news at 9. Still in local news this evening, Cabinet has granted its approval for upgrading the Tissa Maharama and Kurianda water supply projects in the Hambantota district.
That's right, Joel. And the Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premadasa, noted that this project will be completed in 2 years.
The drinking water issue of the area was brought to the attention of Minister Sajid Premadasa when Newsfirst held a Gammad program on the banks of the Katan tank on the 26th of June.
The water we use is obtained from the tap. We cannot dig up the well as the water is brackish. Therefore, please provide us with an immediate solution. If not, we might all have to visit the hospitals. We have allocated 46 million rupees to solve this issue. Give us a reasonable time period. I will do this for my people.
ආදරණීය ජනතාවට අපි ඉෂ්ට කරනවා.
Minister Sajith Premadasa announced to the media today that the water supply scheme for providing quality and healthy drinking water to the residents of the area was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. The minister presented several water bottles at the media briefing and mentioned that he took the bottles to the Cabinet meeting yesterday.
Without providing a solution to this water crisis prevailing in Thisamaharama, they constructed ports to which even ships do not arrive and airports to which planes do not arrive. However, our government, the government of good governance under the leadership of the President and the directive of the Prime Minister, have always taken the initiative to help the public at a crisis such as this. I took these 3 bottles to the Cabinet meeting yesterday. When I put forward my proposal without even a blink of an eye, the President, Prime Minister, Minister of Finance and Minister of Water Supply agreed to pass ₹393 million for this purpose. This is what you call good governance. Many powerful politicians, including the former president, hail from the Hambantota district. Even the former Minister of Water Resources hail from the Hambantota district. Many of the public representatives who made it to Parliament hail from the Hambantota district. They allocated large sums of money to the development of the areas. However, they did not think of the people who would be affected by this directly. Even if they knew about it, they did not take any action.
On to a headline-making story, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa visited Kandy for religious observances today.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa visited the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic and obtained blessings.
ඉදිරි පළාත් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඔබතුමාගේ චන්ද්‍රිකා මැතිණියගේ වර්තමාන
තාකල් තියෙනවා. ඒක තාකල් තියෙනවනේ.
ඉදිරි පළාත් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඔබතුමා සහයෝගය දෙන්නේ ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂයට සම්දානයේ. අපි බලමු.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party says they do not need my assistance. They want me to step aside and retire. So how do I respond to this? Should I believe everything that is said? I am in a party with many confusions.
Mahinda Rajapaksa thereafter called on the Anunayaka of the Malwata chapter, Venerable Niyangoda Vichitasira Thero. He then called on Venerable Naram Panave Ananda Thero at the Askiri Pirivena and engaged in discussions. Our correspondent said that the discussion lasted for 2 hours. Mahinda Rajapaksa then responded to questions posed by the media.
By the looks of it, the executive presidency will not change. Small sections might see changes. They are the ones who are saying it.
The Voice Against Corruption convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
There are over 30 complaints that were conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department and the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. The investigations into these complaints are over and the documents are with the Attorney General. However, cases are not filed. From what we hear, there are over 40 files on concluded investigations done by the FCID. For the past 11 months, how many cases has this government filed? Sergeant Divas Gunawardena was made a state witness. For what case was he made a state witness? Are they not ashamed? Is this what you call good governance? You need to tell the country the reasons for not filing cases. Avantgarde, which was involved in the arms trade, operated floating armory and even put national security at risk, is free. A person who steals a coconut is put behind bars. Youth who create fake passports and attempt to leave because they cannot live here are arrested in Katunayaka and sent to prison. But a person with 2 passports is not sent to prison. That is where good governance is now. We will take these matters to the higher courts against the heads of these institutions, citing that our fundamental rights have been violated.
Welcome back to the news. Police uncovered a drug ring where narcotics were transported on passenger transport buses operating from Jaffna to Colombo.
Now, the police say that this ring has been on operation for a period of time.
This is the shop located at Dam Street in Colombo, and this is where goods brought in passenger transport buses from Jaffna change hands. Information had reached the police that drug peddlers come to this shop to collect the drugs that are brought in buses from Jaffna. The Colombo Anti-Vice Unit deployed its undercover operatives in the area this morning to uncover and expose this drug ring. Their target was this package of dried fish that arrived last night from Jaffna. A youth arrived to collect the parcel moments after the clock struck 10. The officers acted quickly to arrest this youth just as he was leaving the shop. The credibility of the information the police officer received was proven when they searched the package and uncovered 2 kilograms of Kerala ganja that was concealed in it. The Anti-Vice Unit broadened its scope and commenced an operation to nab the individual who moved the parcel from Jaffna to Colombo. Police officers travelled with the suspect in custody to another location in the city and also dispatched its undercover operatives throughout the area. Officers made the suspect to make a phone call to the individual who moved the parcel and launched an operation to apprehend him. However, as the chief suspect had got wind of the arrest of the youth, he evaded police arrest, making the anti-vice operation an unsuccessful one. Officers handed over the suspect to the Kesalwada police along with the Kerala ganja they seized and have commenced further investigations.
The Minister of Education made statements about preparations that are being made to distribute cash vouchers to students in lieu of the uniform material that was provided beginning from the second week of November. Even though the subject minister presented many facts from the 10th of this month to justify the distribution of cash vouchers instead of the uniform material, the minister who assumed duties in January this year had taken steps to provide the uniform material as usual until the 8th of this month. Yesterday, Action TV revealed a cabinet paper that bears testimony to the steps taken by the minister. In addition, when taking into consideration the cabinet papers and other documents that have been exchanged at institutional level to ensure that the uniform material is provided, it goes on to show that the cash voucher concept is one that had cropped up spontaneously and not one that is efficient and has been put forward for the betterment of the students who are to receive this and to minimize corruption. Looking at the steps taken over the past 10 months to ensure the provision of school uniform material and the statements that were made claiming that this provision was a malpractice, we are reminded of the folk story of the fox and the grapes. However, it was revealed at the cabinet briefing today that cabinet has approved to provide cash vouchers instead of school uniform material. This statement made by the minister at the briefing today makes it evident that the ministry does not have a clear understanding of the steps that should be taken to ensure the smooth process of this task.
If they are provided with 400 rupees and they buy material for 375 rupees, 25 rupees remain. How will the remainder be taken back?
We are in
the process of creating a mechanism for that as well. We are having the final meeting today. The opinion that came out was that material of a wide range could be purchased. We have decided on the prices based on normal market prices. But the issue here is that there is a better material. One could think, for example, that there is a Japanese material that is expensive. You can buy it at that price or add some more money and purchase it, or else you can sew it at the same store itself. There are tailors at many clothing stores. When they obtain the voucher, a trend such as this will be created. Thereafter, you can provide some more money and get it stitched from the same shop itself.
If you take 10 shops, only 5 shops have tailors. What will happen to the balanced money when you purchase material from these shops?
This is the beginning. The market will change in the future. One, they will prepare for this. We have made a mechanism for this as well. The cabinet paper was approved only yesterday. The document containing the details will be presented to the committee this evening. We will create the mechanisms that are needed to minimize all the issues that crop up.
මේ ප්‍රශ්න හැම එකක්ම අවම වෙන විදියට අපි සම්පූර්ණයෙන් හදනවා මේකට අවශ්‍ය මේ ක්‍රමවේදය.
The final day of the third term of this academic year is the 4th of December. It is the duty and the responsibility of the Ministry of Education to ensure that public funds of 2,300 million rupees is not misused and that the task is completed before the end of the school term.
Three houses were completely burnt down after a fire broke out in the 55th Watta in Neewsfirst.lk, Colonava. Officers of the Colombo Fire Service Department stated that no casualties were reported.
Six houses were damaged in the fire which erupted at 6 this morning. Fire extinguishing units of Colombo, Kotahena, Colonava as well as Kote were called to the scene to douse the fire. A high voltage power line was also damaged by the fire. We removed all the gas cylinders when the fire erupted. There was an oil leak. That is how the fire broke out. There was oil mixed in the water of the canal which flows close to the 55th Watt housing scheme in Vallampitiya. This was the cause for the fire. The government analysts arrived at the location this evening and collected samples of the water. On the 24th of September, an oil leak was reported close to the office of the Paddy Marketing Board in Neewsfirst. Trade unions point out that such issues have constantly cropped up due to the dilapidated state of the pipeline which is currently in use. After the 8th of January, they took quick measures to renovate this. They did renovate around 2.5 kilometers, but there is around 3.5 kilometers more to complete. So oil is leaking from those corroded areas. It is the corrupted former ministers and board of directors of the Mahinda Rajapaksa administration who should be held responsible for this disaster. This is the fourth time a house has been burnt down. Minister of Petroleum and Petroleum Gas Chandima Virakodi arrived and inspected the scene of the fire.
The government analyst and the police have taken over investigations to look into the cause of the leakage. If the report of the investigation reveals that the reason for the fire is the leakage in the pipeline, then we will provide compensation.
With that, we wrap up the news at 9. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Joel Outscore.
And I'm Arundhati Mudarnaika. Take care and good night.
Good night.